Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Speed here, and today we're going to be analyzing Skeeter's Wraith King. This is a hero that he's been known for playing, and I wanted to take a look at a match where he goes 8-0 and makes the hero look really good. My thing about Wraith King is I often feel that the hero falls off and just doesn't do enough damage, but considering he goes 8-0, that's obviously not the case this game. So yeah, I just want to take a look at his Wraith King, see how he's so efficient, why he buys the items that he does, and talk a little bit about why this is a good Wraith King game. Also, I want to tell you guys that if you've been struggling with solo queue and you're looking to get to the next rank, I'm going to be able to help you. Like, literally, with the GameLeap website, I'm going to give you guys guides that are going to make it unbelievably clear on what you need to do. So if you've been stuck in the solo queue grind, you don't know what to do, and you want to become absolutely broken, but like actually you want to become much better at Dota, and you want to take it more seriously, the GameLeap website is going to help you do that. So click the link down below, I'm going to help you get to the next rank, and I'll see you there. So for the laning stage, what I thought was cool is that he skilled his passive, well, sort of his passive, Vampiric Spirit at level 1. This is not something you see in every single game, it's something you see from time to time, it's not uncommon. But yeah, it definitely makes quite a bit of sense against Darkseer. You're not going to pressure Darkseer too hard at level 1 with the stun. It's not that Ench is bad, but I don't think she gets that much value out of the stun. She's just going to kind of chuck Impetus and then trade with Clockwork. And so yeah, I like the fact that this helps him sustain against the Ion Shells and then build up Skeletons so that when he hits level 2 and has stun, the Skeletons will get a lot of value. So the next thing I'd like to talk about is this item build. I'm not going to cover the laning stage much because honestly against Darkseer, it was kind of just a 50-50 lane where Skeeter did whatever he wants. But he goes Helm of the Ironwill as his first item to allow him to sustain against the Ion Shell and deal with the dives from Darkseer and Clockwork, which certainly worked. He's 1-0-1 at this point in the game. And then he actually rushes an Armlet. Now the reason why Armlet is so good on Wraith King is, first of all, it gives you 15 damage flat, which is actually a lot. 25 attack speed, which is quite a ton. Then 6 armor, 5 HP regen, really good on Wraith King. But what's particularly notable is that when you activate this item, it gives you a total of 75 damage. 75! There's not a single item that comes even remotely close in terms of overall DPS on Wraith King compared to Armlet. And it works so well because your hero has built-in lifesteal, and then it works incredibly well with the crit. And you can see here, he's going to get gone on, saves his skill point, which I really love, right? Didn't skill up the passive, didn't skill up the crit, and so he's actually going to skill his ulti here. And he realizes that this is a good time to skill the ulti. The reason why you hold the point and sometimes skill it and sometimes don't is because, like in a clip here, his teammates come in to back him up. The Snapfire has TP'd in, and so it's a good idea for him to actually respawn. Where if no one TP'd in and he was completely abandoned, he would just die to the Ion Shell plus Cogs, right? And so there's no point in skilling ulti, you might as well just die, right? Save the ulti for a situation where it's actually useful. But he makes a really heads-up decision to, turn on his Armlet, buy some time, and allow for the Snapfire TP. Snapfire makes a pretty cool play and goes on to the Zeus, which he's able to follow up, and look at the damage, right? Hits the crit here, unfortunately gets slowed by the Heavenly Jump, so isn't able to finish off the kill, but you could clearly see the value in holding the skill point on ulti, and the Armlet for the early damage on the Zeus. Now do keep in mind, I don't recommend going this build every game. However, against something like Darkseer, where you can't pressure the Darkseer, it's not that useful to buy phase boots. Maybe you could make the argument that buying phase boots against Darkseer is good because you can run away from the Ion Shells, but I think getting this Armlet early so that you can jungle very efficiently is the key, and that's clearly what he's going to do. Phase boots compared to Armlet, it's just not even a question, right? He will go back for the phase boots now, which is nice. Also is able to get a Possess Mask, which is such a fantastic item on Wraith King, giving you 140 total HP, 7 damage, and the ability just to heal a little bit more with that Armlet active is very nice. And this is where this hero actually shines. With all of these small effective items, in a clip like this, usually you're not killing this Darkseer. This is a Vanguard Darkseer, but because of the fact that you hit for such a high number, an item like Vanguard just doesn't do nearly as much, and they're able to chop down DM's Darkseer. From there, he's going to be very efficient. After they got the kill, what I really liked is that he didn't just decide to, farm the wave normally and then go farm the camp. A lot of people just wouldn't make this efficiency play. He runs ahead of the wave. Right, it's 11 minutes in here, he feels very safe, he sees the Doom, he sees the Zeus, no way he's dying to clock techies. I guess maybe he could, but it's very unlikely. They probably showed elsewhere as well. So he's going to drag the wave to the camp, super nice, going to farm it up, trying to get 6 skeletons before spawning them, gets to 6 skeletons, going to spawn them here, and they're actually going to run to the small camp. That's going to allow him to farm that very quickly, runs ahead to the large camp before the skeletons ran out, then over to the other large camp, and this is where this hero's efficiency really begins to kick off. Next, he buys Deso, which I really like because there's been a trend where people just buy Radiance no matter what, and I hate this trend. I just hate it. Guys, you need to think about whether or not Radiance is actually good. Like, I think people have come to the conclusion that if they're playing Anti-Mage or Lifestealer or Wraith King or Abaddon, okay, on Abaddon, I think Radiance is almost good every game because that hero, like, really uses it well, and it truly enables the hero to farm. Where, like, Wraith King, he can farm without a Radiance. It really doesn't amp his farm that much. It truly doesn't. Considering Radiance doesn't use his crit nearly as well as Armlet into Deso. And on top of that, why is this a good game for Armlet and Deso? Let's quickly talk about that. Number one, it's much harder to itemize against like physical damage, at least early on, because early pipe, which the Darkseer could buy, is devastating for early Radiance. It just is. Like, it hurts the item a ton. However, it's not that good of a pipe game, but the biggest thing is really that this match in particular, the physical damage makes sense. Here's why. It works incredibly well with Beastmaster's passive. You got that going. He also went Helm of the Overlord, so you're going to get Vlad's amp. You want a lot of damage. You have the physical inner beast. You have the Vlad's amp. It makes a lot of sense in that regard. On top of that, you do not want to buy Radiance Wraith King against Doom. It is terrible. The reason why it's terrible is Doom is going to rush BKB. He's going to rush BKB. He doesn't care about the evasion drop. Not a single one of these heroes does any physical damage, so there's no reason to buy a Radiance this game, right? And when the Doom goes in with his BKB, his Blink BKB, you need to be able to push him away. If you cannot push him off your teammates, you are not doing your job as Wraith King against Doom. Wraith King is considered a Doom counter, but if the Doom can ignore the Wraith King and kill your teammates, it's not that good. He just cannot Doom you. And then Infernal Blade actually counters your hero later in team fights, in the later portion of the team fight. So you have to be able to push him away with heavy physical damage during his BKB. It is absolutely crucial to fulfill that role when you're playing this matchup. And finally, Radiance is also bad against Zeus because when you're playing against Zeus, you want to burst him. Radiance certainly does not do that. So yeah, hopefully you get the point. This is a horrible game for that item build, and yet I know for a fact a ton of people, even I would argue maybe most Wraith King players or Wraith King spammers, would buy the item anyway. Also, cool little thing he did here, he went back for Windlace. I'm not kidding. He bought Deso and then Windlace, really prioritizing his ability to move around the map and not get kited in teamfights. From there, he's going to make a smoke play on his Blink Dagger timing, which I always recommend to my students and anyone watching these videos. Guys, make plays. You really want to make plays on your timings, and what's really great about Tundra's draft is their ability to take objectives. If they get a kill near an objective, for instance the top wave is pushing into the tier 2, or in this game the best option, Roshan, if they get a kill near one of these objectives, the game completely changes, because it's going to allow them to open up the map and gain a major advantage. They end up finding Choose Techie here, which was kind of crazy because the bombs blew up in the Roche pit. I thought he would actually see this gank coming, but he tanks the gank, or you could call it tanks the gank. There's not really much of a gank tank because now they transition this instantly in the Roche. And this is another benefit of the Deso here. It speeds up the Roche timer, or the Roche taking, way faster, and tower taking by a lot. So they're going to end up getting the Aegis here. They go for a late contest on the side of OG. And now you can see the Doom BKB is going to go in. I have no idea why Yuragi didn't BKB here if he was going to go. That was crazy, man. I'm not going to lie. This fight might have been okay. I honestly can't believe he did BKB. This was... whatever, I'm not going to harp on it too much, but it hyper griefed the game. He ends up getting off BKB, but he gets cogged in anyway and die. He walks away, but it still ends up dying to the beast. But it griefs the fight so hard, and like this goes from a game where, I don't know, I feel like OG's in a decent position to now, the Zeus just gets removed because of the Blink Deso. And yeah, the game turns around, but the thing is, people make mistakes when they're put under pressure. That's the reality. That's why this smoke play is so high skill from Skeeter, and him hitting his timing so effectively this game, right? He had a 20-minute Blink Dagger. It's so important because if you don't hit these timings, couldn't make that smoke call wouldn't force that bad play from Yuragi, and the game would look completely different. From here, I really like Skeeter's efficiency, and I'd like to talk about it quickly. So they're going to move into the triangle. They look for a kill. Okay, obviously they're hunting the Darkseer here and chasing him down. So he goes to bottom trying to chase Darkseer. Okay, doesn't end up picking up a kill, so he's going to go off to the bot wave and clears it up. From there, he actually ends up TPing top, which is I think something most players wouldn't do. And the reason why is they would be like, oh, it's too dark top. I don't see a lot. I don't have a lot of info. I'm gonna, just go take these bot towers, which isn't a terrible idea. It's really not a bad idea to take the last tier 1 tower of the game. It's quite valuable in my opinion. But either way, he's gonna TP top. And the reason why you want to do this, or you can consider doing this, is because number one, it's a lot of farm. And number two, it's going to give your team the ability to take over map control. Also, I think a big objective for them this game is this top tier 2 tower, which will enable taking that outpost very quickly, and that's pretty huge as well. But he's going to summon skeletons on the top wave, which is really nice because it's going to push in that top wave very far and eventually give them information if someone decides to clear the wave, and he'll head back to the triangle. From there, because a couple of heroes show mid and the techie shows bottom, he feels comfortable heading back up towards the creep wave, then off to the small camp, and he's going to really make his way towards this top tier 2 tower. His team does a great job of getting a kill on the mid wave, and heroes continue to show throughout the map on Hawks, and so he's able to force out this top tower. So his pressure on that top wave and his decision to go top enables for this top tier 2 push off one pick off on the mid wave and a little bit of information on the bot side of the map. So you can see his gameplay just kind of progresses the game. A lot of players, they jungle backwards, they don't see the opportunity to push in the waves, and it really hurts the game. In general, I think something I've been learning from players like Skeeter and Mickey as carry players is they really understand when they can take the tier 2 comfortably. That's the key, right? Because a lot of players will be like, oh, Speed told me to take towers as carry. I should be going for the tier 2. And they're playing like Anti-Mage with Battle Fury Vanguard, and they're like sieging a tier 2. You certainly do, even as Wraith King, you certainly do not want to force a tier 2 with minimal information on the map, right? When he went for that tower, they had gotten a kill, and he saw the rest of the heroes. It's not random, as they're going to go for the tier 2 mid here. Fight breaks out. Oh, what a sleep on the Zeus. Are they going to be able to kill him, though? It's close. Oh, there you go. With Radiance, he probably doesn't die there. I just want to point that out. Also, I'd just like to note kind of his general gameplay in this team fight. He's going to end up killing the Zeus to start it off. This is a great sleeping dart from 9 here to catch the Zeus. Just understanding this is the most important target. They're going to drop the little chain stun here, and they barely finish him off. They're able to get the kill because his item build enables it, because he can't get chain stunned or slowed or anything like that. The BKB allows him to take out the Zeus, which just certainly wouldn't have happened with the Radiance build. I can't stress that enough. And then from there, he's going to kite out. Just want to make sure his blink can go off. Also, his BKB is ending, so he didn't want to get kited. And because he kites out, he's able to get a clean blink onto the techies and eventually one-shot him for 911 damage. So moving on here, I'd like to discuss why I think his itemization is kind of perfect. The Bloodthorn makes so much sense this game for 2 main reasons. Number 1, the enemy team is all magic damage, so having magic resist from Bloodthorn and the ability to mage slayer people is just really good, right? It makes a lot of sense. But on top of that, the main kill he wants to go for in these team fights is the Zeus, right? And Zeus just currently has no dispel. It's as simple as that. The ability to silence this guy is huge. On top of that, techies also can't dispel, which, you know, is something. It's good, right? Bloodthorn is such a low cooldown where it's totally fine to use it on supports and team fights if you see the opportunity. It's only 15 seconds. You can easily get 2 of them off. Same thing with the Clockwork. Unfortunately, Darkseer has Greaves, but you can use it on him after Greaves, and same thing with Doom after BKB, but it's mainly for definitely the Zeus. So he's going to be aiming the Zeus in these team fights. That's certainly his number 1 target. And then I would say number 2 for Wraith King is the supports. The hero, Wraith King in general, does not want to jump like Agi cores or anything like that. They're just too tanky for your physical damage. Even if you have Radiance, it just doesn't do anything. So, like, yeah, you generally want to go for the people who you can blow up. And we'll see here where they're going for smoke play. I have no idea how the Zeus ends up living. I guess they just weren't ready to follow it up. 9 wasn't in position. I guess 33 wasn't either. Good force staff, right? But he didn't get much of a clean jump, so they're able to force out the Zeus. And this looks really bad, right? Kind of trapped in, doesn't want to pop his BKB, but he has somehow the discipline not to BKB. I guess it's because he has reincarnation. He'll use it on second life. That must be the idea, right? But he doesn't panic. He's able to live through all of it. Like, getting stuck on their high ground with no BKB is insane that he lives through that. And yeah, with the Bloodthorn, he's fine. He's able to jump back in. Unfortunately, I think he Bloodthorns the Doom there, which is definitely not the Bloodthorn target. They end up poking his BKB here, but he's totally fine to walk it off once again because of the Mage Slayer. Even gets doomed, but the Enchantress, bit of a doom counter with how much heal she ends up giving off, and yeah, she has the Nature's Attendance with the Holy Locket, so even though the armlet is on and the doom is active, which tends to be really bad, he's completely fine. And here, this is where I just feel like Skeeter's such a good player, and it's like someone just with really, really good fundamentals, right? His ideas of the game and his understanding of what his hero is supposed to do is super, super good. Like, why is he so far back? He doesn't have reincarnation. And I know that seems really simple. It's like, really, Speed? He doesn't have reincarnation? Like, obviously he shouldn't go in. But how many people are going in here? At least leading the charge. Too many people. And they're going to get kited. They're going to get their BKB force. And they're going to give the enemy team an opportunity to take down the very key, 6-0 Wraith King. Where he's just going to be a little bit chill, sees the war come out, doesn't force it, whatever, he's chilling. Techies jumps in, okay, fine, I'll take the free kill, right? We'll take the free kill. Even then, kites out a little bit. Bloodthorn on cooldown, stun on cooldown. wait the cooldowns. He's gonna eventually look when the Bloodthorn is up on the Zeus. Wraith King stun tends to not be good enough to kill Zeus, right? Because of that reason. Pro players will almost always get off their spell. So ends up being a little bit tough. Maybe could have BKB'd there as well just to try to guarantee the hit, but either way, this wasn't the best jump. I will admit, out of all the jumps, trying to blink stun a Zeus, maybe you catch him off guard, but they had a Glimmer and a Force behind him anyway, so I don't know if they would have killed him. But maybe this one was a bit far. That was not I praise him and then he makes that play, which was certainly at least somewhat questionable, but same thing. Going back to sit in the back line, waiting for an opportunity to go in safely, and yeah, this is where the game's about to end. He TPs to the bot wave. I love that. I love that, right? These pro players, they're so efficient, and their intuition or their ability to quickly respond to the waves is so cool, man. Like, very little time in between farming efficiency. If fight ends, immediately it's like, where's the furthest pushed out creep wave? How can I fix the map? That's how these players think. And that's why they're going to be way more farmed than you. That's why they're going to have way better map control than you. And then he's going to reconnect to his team. And yeah, his team might feed a little bit. Just kidding, they're actually team wiping them without him. So this game is just about over. 24k network lead against the Doom is always probably a good sign that you're going to win the game. But alright, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. And I'm out. Peace.
And that's all, but remember, before you leave, come on, before you tune out, subscribe to the GameLeap website where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace.